What's up, guys? We're here again, and we're going to be playing a brand new game. Now, I know you're thinking, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, why are we playing a new game? You've already got a Let's Play of Minecraft, and you've already got the Let's Play of Outland going on, both of which I plan on continuing and totally going through with. But we got this new webcam, and I've got myself in the lower left-hand corner like normal, but I hope it's not a problem because we're going to be playing a brand new game, and it is the game right on the screen, The Beginner's Guide. And just came out like 2 days ago, and it's made by Davey Redden, or Redan, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but it's there on the screen, and I am so excited to play this. I just got it, just finished downloading it right now, and it's called The Beginner's Guide, and Davey Redden, however you pronounce his name, is the creator of the Stanley Parable, and you guys obviously won't know this because I don't think I've talked about it, but I'm a massive fan of the Stanley Parable, and I think it's one of the most brilliant things ever made. It's not exactly like new grounds for game making. It's not exactly like such an amazing story, but it was just so well done. Like it's so cute, and sometimes it's so interesting at other times, and like so inquisitive and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, I loved it, so I'm a huge fan of his as far as his current work goes. But this is his own independent video game. It's apparently it's like a narrative, so there's not actual much gameplay. And it said that it takes about an hour and a half to complete. So I'm looking to be one of the first to hopefully write a review on this and put a video up on YouTube of me playing it. Because I'm so excited, and I'd love to share the experience with everyone else who can't play it themselves or who doesn't know what to think before they get it. So we're just going to be filming it like straight through from start to finish, no matter how long it takes us, unless there's an emergency and we have to go. I can't imagine it taking me any longer than like 2.5 hours. I tend to play games a little bit slower than most people I know. I like to, I don't know, take things slow and really take them in, enjoy them. Also, the startup might take a bit. I might have one of these graphic setup things. Oh, doesn't look like it does. Are we going straight into the full screen, I assume? Okay. So hopefully everything works out. We're going to keep the game audio because if it's anything like the Stanley Parable, there's going to be a lot of narrating. Hopefully by the same voice because he was stellar. He was amazing. I don't know that guy's name actually, unless it was Davey himself, which it was. Wow, Davey. I never really paid attention to who did the audio in there. I'd love to get his voice. Or not get his voice, but figure out who did the voice. Okay, everything unlimited, LTD. Everything unlimited, limited. Oh, that's not what LTD stands for. But that is what Limited Brands, the company, their name is in stocks, LTD. I know because I'd like to get stocks in there. You know why? Because they own Victoria's Secret and Pink and sex sells. That's the way I see it. And LTD is up, I think. So yeah, as I mentioned, this might take a sec. Oh, look at that. Here we are. Options, audio. We're going to want to turn it down just a little bit. Oh, closed captioning? You better freaking believe it. Heck yeah, we've got closed captioning on. All this looks good. Filtering mode. Yeah, put on the... yeah, trilinear is good. Enabled. I feel like we should put VSync disabled because I think that really helps. Multi-core rendering disabled. Shader detail. Ooh. Let's put it on medium. Effect detail. Medium. Model texture detail. Medium. Multi-core rendering. Actually, we'll put... Okay. Double buffered and enabled. I don't think we're going to break the bank by playing with our settings like this. Okay. That should be fine. Keyboard and mouse seems fine. Just going to go ahead and get started. Please make sure audio is on. Yeah, sounds incredible. Fair enough.
Hi there. Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named Cota. Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Cota in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Cota learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level.
Did he?
And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this? This is what I like about all of Cota's games. I mean, not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know who this human being really is.
Yeah, sure.
And that's exactly what we're going to do here. So, it's 2008, Cota starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day...
That's like Sega.
Stop.
In the 80s.
In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since.
Huh.
And that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together, is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again.
Hell yeah.
And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Cota.
So it's a shout out.
Thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com.
Yeah,
Okay,
Davey.
that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Cota's first proper game. As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
So these are completed dates, not, Oh, crap. So this is basically one big shout-out, I guess, is what it is? Which makes me feel like I've kind of wasted my money, but at the same time, I really think Davey's got some interesting stuff to say about all these. Am I going to clear that? Okay. Ooh. Oh. Oh.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Cota.
Okay. There's fire right there? Oh, it's not actually fire. So I can fire if I need to. Alright, okay, couldn't go left. Oh, things are bad. So this is... Oh, I'm out of bullets!
It looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere. But then clearly there are no enemies anywhere.
The door shut behind
You
me!
can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets.
Yeah, no kidding.
But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Cota thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Oh, okay.
I love how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
Yeah. It's so cool to have Davey's thoughts like running alongside me. Alright. This reminds me of a Halo hallway. You know what? I'm going to start doing the same things too, I guess. I guess I'll just list off. Oh.
Apparently, this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
But he completed it? Is that what that...
This is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
So, this is the engine room?
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is powering the whisper machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature.
This reminds me of Half-Life.
Your body
Oh, of course they're all... You know.
It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
Wow. That's powerful. That's so quick. That is...
Let me pause here for a second.
Oh my
What you
goodness.
just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Cota had initially intended when he was developing this level. But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh! Oh! Whoa. Oh, look, there's the labyrinth.
The beam causes you to start floating.
There it was.
And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically
Oh, we almost
a
had
glitch,
it the first time.
but Cota identifies something human about it. Like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
This is beautiful, though. So this one was also made in November 2008. Wow, that's quick. Oh, God. I don't know why I laugh so hard at things like that. Can I not move? Oh.
Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
What? It's so hard to walk straight.
So it's a short and relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually it seems to be more focused, more complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Why does the future keep... Whoa. Wait. It becomes clear when she stops and looks. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends. Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
Wow. Ugh. Not crying, I swear. My eyes are... My contacts make my eyes kind of dry sometimes, especially when I game. Probably should have put on some glasses. But that's okay. Oh my goodness.
And that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
I honestly can't remember what I saw on the sign. Son of a gun. I wasn't paying attention enough.
Oftentimes, Cota would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games.
What did that say? Nonsense in every direction?
I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, like, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I get it. You can't do... Oh. Oh, I'm slowing down. Oh, I'm slow...
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens. So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
I don't know if I should hit enter, though. What's wrong with me just playing it like this? Would the game end otherwise? Davey makes me want to hit enter, but at the same time, I don't want to. I guess I should. I would get there eventually, though, wouldn't I? Oh, this is a quaint little room. Stand on an X staring at a bear for 3... You walk around talking people down from pursuing their hopes and dreams. Key in one game unlocks a door in a completely separate room. You are a gate.
A room that's warm and nice and filled with little ideas for games.
Oh, they're live on a boat taking orders from the captain. The captain is always wrong. You construct the wall.
Coda
The
would
wall is
often
destroyed.
tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him as cold or distant. He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that.
Shit, did Cota kill
It can
himself?
be a very slow climb to get there.
He's talking all in the past tense, and I realized this was a while ago, like he's talking about before. A stranger appears. I love that one. That's gotta be my favorite. Oh, goodness. If he tells me that Cota killed himself, I'm gonna be so freaking sad. But he did say at the beginning that he hopes this might inspire Cota to pick up games again, so... Oh, man. I'm not prepared for what's gonna happen. This one's a lot like the other one.
Well, this is new for Cota. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it. Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon. We're gonna see it a lot. So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve the puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough. Alright, now I'm going to modify the game again, so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Whoa. Are you kidding me?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing. I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
To experience? Oh, back to this level. Now I can look at the message again. You are now exiting. Okay, then it must have said you are now entering.
Aha. So, this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Cota believes his games are connected somehow.
Sure.
It could even be that the
That's
stairs game and
kind of a
puzzle game
supposition.
are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
It's a bit of a leap, but like I kind of agree with him. It's a bit of a leap. But I mean, hey, like when you're theorizing and when you're like coming up with ideas, you have to like draw links between stuff. The Great and Lovely Descent. So it starts off with me walking down. Oh, you can see it.
Let's talk about video game development for a second.
Sure.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do. So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
The Streetwise Fool.
To make all of these games, Cota is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors. That's why so many of Cota's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well. The tools available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making.
Yeah.
You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Cota's games to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
Sure. I noticed that. So the Stanley Parable is pretty decent at. So what am I doing? Oh! How did I not see this before? What? Oh man, I almost fell there. All right. Can I make that jump? No, I just keep on going down this way. Is there a bottom to this level? Oh crap, that's a big jump. I don't know if I can do that. Oh wow, I did it. Great. Oh shoot. I can't go in that circle. Interesting. Oh, look, there's a thin filament. Uh.
This prison, funny enough, in Cota's original design, the door stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go.
So you're expected to sit
If you don't
here.
mind, I think we're gonna skip that.
Crap.
This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible? And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere. There wasn't.
God damn, dude. That's the same texture ground as the previous area. Oh, this reminds me of that, the Alhambra. La Alhambra in Spain.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Oh boy, I hope I remember.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Cota is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
You have to close what's behind you and accept your present to move forward to your future. That's my basic interpretation as of right now. But I'm sure Davey spent many more hours on his games than I have. You there, did you come from up above?
Here, Cota begins using a kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Yes, there were these floating colored blocks. Yes, there was an enormous prison of... Oh! Why can't I tell them, though? Please try to remember. It is so important we get out of here. We must escape this prison. Can you think harder? There must be something more. Please tell us how to reach the end. Oh, wait. Here I am again. Yes, do you want to know how to solve it? No, we actually find the blank space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? This Cota guy's games are like...
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
I don't even know what to say. Like, at this point, like, I'm so, like, invested in, like, what's going on right now. And not just because Davey's telling this narrative and I'm, like, going through the process of, like, when Davey was or something like that. But, like, if I were placed in here with no other context, these are games that I personally would, like, just enjoy. Like, these are games that are good for me, that I like. They're like complete as they are. As weird as like I went into this thinking like, oh yeah, this isn't done or whatever. And I love this like atmospheric like tunage right now. There's a courtyard. Oh, this is the lamppost
I can't
that
tell you quite why, but for some reason Cota fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination. Which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination.
I don't know. There's some really
We're
interesting.
see it in the work as well. His games are just going to become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
So I don't necessarily like, even though his games aren't clear, I don't necessarily think that they're so uncohesive or that there's something so wrong with them up until now. They're like complete works. They're very short works, right? Like it's something that you would love to release as like a compilation. Like what he was talking about before, that they're all connected. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left by other players. Let's leave a note. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the notes that you're gonna see have been written by Cota. This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention. I was over-enthusiastic. But he was very gracious about it and very patient with me. And I cooled off eventually.
Whoa. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Reasonable?
Oh, feel free to skip over any of these notes if they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them.
Everyone read this.
Either way, to me
Hey.
they convey a sense of loneliness.
This place
I
makes
see
me
this
sad.
person who's filled with thoughts and feelings and beliefs and has no way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played. But it's ironic, isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Cota often felt, that we get to know him better and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really seductive to me. That I could just play someone's game and see the voices in their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing. I could just get to know you through your work. I think this is why I always liked Cota's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And then I feel less lonely too.
Let me tell you what's the most majestic thing I've ever seen. I don't feel like living because nothing will ever be as majestic as that. I want to see it again if nothing will ever be that beautiful again. I am crying now and plan on ripping my eyes out. I must go now to do that. Do you feel like a hero yet? In a world full of notes, one man will read all of them. This summer, you will believe blue speech bubbles can talk. Cool cavern, bro. We're running out of space soon. We will suffocate. Too many messages in this area. Why? Hey, I can type here. I'd rather be doing literally anything other than playing this. Well, then why aren't you? Hey, over there wrote much wrong. That one hit me hard. What the shit is this cavern? Boring. I can assure you, guarantee that there is no acorn somewhere here in this place and the sailors are looking for. Wait, there is? That there is an acorn somewhere. Just looking for someone to talk with. But it's... God damn. I need to go to the freaking bathroom. Recognize me, please. There's nothing here to go back. Don't listen to that guy. A free t-shirt. Oop. Need other side door. Why you so? Door how open? Open sesame. Makes game includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. That's quintessential Cota. I hope so. Shit, man. Huh, to think those other ones were considering jumping when you could just walk down here the whole time. Today I learned you cannot jump off. That speaks a lot more than what you think. I saw a person walking down there now, it won't come back. Let's hope they're okay. Well done, all of you. Yeah. What does it mean? What's the other game? Oh shoot! What's that game I just? What's that game I played where the guy obsesses over the painting and then kills himself? Art. Hey guys, how's it going? Just hanging. I think it's about how things look messy from up close and perfect from far away. Help! I am trying to speak. Gosh dang. Shapes our nation. Devil Tower Star. I know I don't have to read all these, and I'm sorry. It's about how this game is pretentious and you all suck. I know I don't have to read all these, and I'm sorry, but I really want to. It really helps. There must be a reason for it. You didn't beat the game. Sorry. More room?
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
Okay, so I generally had the idea that Davy has.
In each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Cota can then place this puzzle. that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on. And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture. Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
I love how it's titled Porn Stars Die Too. And it's just this tune. Oh! Alright, so I can already see somewhere where I'm going from over there.
See, like, this is the whole game, and there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway.
Yep.
Except, for some reason, Cota gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
I said put a giant hole in the ground if you didn't see it in the bottom left. Okay, now, what about along the wall of the room? 10 stoves lined up. Let's put a huge picture of a horse. Okay. Ooh, full ceiling window. That's boring. At a table, you need a table. Who are you? Well, that's quite expansive.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
Oh, that's what we see. It's not communicating anything. Oh, I can...
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
All right. It's so
And
pretty.
of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside. Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Cota doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
This is very different from the other ones.
It's a conversation. And so this is what Cota wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows. But the irony is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Cota talking to himself. Just tell me how you feel. I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay, wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Cota wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Cota's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Oh, this is the puzzle. I didn't even look behind me. I normally do that. But there's a house here. Oh. Yeah.
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on. From here on out, he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Yeah, let's clean the table. Yeah, sure thing. That's the bedroom? Uh. No, 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 tell me. Come on. Come on, speak to me.
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful. I know that Cota really liked this game. Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time, just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Oh, tell me. Yes. But there's truth in it. Oh, come on. More books. Oh, I could have done them through the wall.
I'm glad he made this. I'm glad he found some peace.
Ask away.
But, of course, it can't last. The music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive.
Come on. It felt so good, though. Oh my gosh.
Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right? That sooner or later you...
Oh man, I saw that lamppost and I got like this feeling of
I
euphoria.
thought that was the point of it.
Oh. So it's misleading. Items you love at members
This
only
one
prices.
gets a bit goofy.
I love how the heads move.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts. And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
Why are the ones darker than the other ones?
I fell pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way, and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days. This one took a lot longer than all the others for Cota to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
This reminds me of the Stanley Parable. Hello, state. Wow, this is beautiful. Jeez. Oh. Sounded like a gunshot. Oh, okay. Leaning into the wall. I should go talk to her. Cool. Yeah, but humans start with hello. No, I ruined it. Shoot, I can't lean forward like that. Oh, I'm gonna play some Mario thing. Or not Mario, the Pokemon pinball. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. True. Oh goodness, this is so dark now. I like my lamppost. Jail.
The game ends with this eerie premonition of what's going to happen next in Coda's life. The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago, where it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Cota went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Mobius trip to play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Alright. Hold on. Alright. Fingers on the keyboard. Oh, it's much brighter now. Davey's not going to talk to me until I...
You should probably open your eyes if you haven't already. It's pretty much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Oh. Okay. Alright. Okay. Whisper! It's back again. What's going on? I didn't notice that the first time. Wow. So if you pick the wrong thing, it makes you restart. Huh.
Alright, let me explain how you're supposed to do this. On either side of the room are elevators, which go up to an upper level. You have to go up, walk over to the person who's standing there, and then select dialogue option number 2.
I had already said something, though. That's why.
Like I said, I was getting concerned. First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But then even weirder, his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Cota where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out. After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Oh, I knew this was not going to be easy. But still. Well, okay. Easy as far as playing it goes. Hello? Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's so nice. Oh. Yeah, probably because I am lost.
If the last game featured Cota talking explicitly about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11. Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore.
But didn't he say that he wanted him to make games again?
Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Oh, shoot! My bad. First you have to open the door. I didn't mean it. First you have to open the door.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
I took a screenshot because I really like this. Oh my gosh. Is that him or someone crying played like backwards? Oh goodness. Oh.
Seeing this game at the time that he made it, it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like, video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about. And I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me. I don't know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted it to stop more than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop. But it didn't stop. After finishing this one, Cota takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Oh wow. Instead of the machine. This is what we were talking about. Whoa. Yeah, so if the last one was on 11, this is like 110.
And of course, it's the machine.
This feels so wrong. This is insanely cool, though.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Cota to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him? If he could see the difference it would make to have more actual conversations with other human beings, would that bring him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
But that doesn't mean that this is the game, the beginner's quest, because that happened. This game came out in 2011. This is 4 years ago now. So this couldn't be the result of that. That's so long ago. Oh!
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all is just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work. There was nothing for him to be afraid of. Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves.
Okay.
And I could fix it.
So if that
I could
didn't
give him
work,
this gift, maybe I could fix the problem.
so if that didn't work for Cota, which it seems like it
How much
doesn't,
they enjoyed his games. It was the best.
and then he does this again,
Best feeling. It made me feel so happy.
it's all
So
about
beautifully, beautifully happy.
it didn't
So
help.
anyway, Cota finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's. This one is called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Cota ever made. So let's take a look.
Okay, so before we start this one, questions. If he thinks that he can't just keep on delving into his work and doing these games, something like that, then why would he be creating this game now to tell us that he thinks Cota should make games again because they're really good? If that's what was causing Cota's struggle, right? And then, in addition, it seems like the fact that people responded and said that they liked Cota's games didn't work out for Cota. At least that's the way that it seems right now, right? So my question right now is that why would he do this again if it didn't work the first time? All right. Ooh. That was weird.
And
Great.
this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game.
That's the sound from the Stanley Parable.
This room actually has a maze in it.
Oh!
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible. And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise. So the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played. It actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Yeah, I'm not going to figure this out in any decent time. I wish he'd show me the walls, though. Can he show me the walls?
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable. Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end. But that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
I'll try to help, Davey. Perhaps that's the message. Punish you for trying to help. Sure, let's flip the switch.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Cota has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
Well, I kind of want to try and go through all the numbers, and I know how, but I'm not going to. 151617. 1 5 1 6 1. I don't know if that's necessarily unlike anything that Coda's made, though. Because earlier he talked about games being partially unplayable. So there was the prison one. Not the prison one where it kept on restarting you over and over again. But there was the prison one where it sided you off and then you went up to prison and you stayed in there for an hour. And then there was the other one where where was the other unplayable one where he mentioned it? It's not occurring to me now. It was earlier. It was there, though. That's happened before.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges, and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Cota cutting himself off entirely, just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
Well, that's the way Cota must feel.
I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
And it works.
Was I a failure for not understanding this game? I mean, I don't know why I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why. I remember, it's June of 2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person. I have no idea who this person is. It wasn't the guy I knew, it wasn't my friend. I had come to so many conclusions from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them. I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean,
Yeah.
and he wouldn't.
Wow. It's all Davy's fault. Dang. This is freaking tragic.
I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy.
Made his
That
work your
I
own.
needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me.
Oh, shit.
But he stopped and left. And it felt somehow like I had failed.
Damn, now Davy's going through depression.
Where did I screw up?
Fudge, man. Oh, God. This is not okay. Dude. Wow. I don't know if anybody knows. Okay, like, I'm gonna stop. I don't know if anybody knows
I'm
anything.
the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I? It's because of what I did. I poisoned it for you.
So I have, like, a ton of problems with, like, like, mental, like, illness and, like, suicide prevention and all that kind of stuff. So, like, a lot of this is, like, really, really freaky, and I probably would have done the same thing that Davey did. But at the same time, I saw this message coming a long while on. But it's easier to see when you're from, the outside.
I don't think I ever told you this, but when I took your work and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable. And the people who played them, they treated me like I was important. They really listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, I felt good about myself. Finally. For a moment, while I had that, I liked myself.
Yeah, but wait, hold on one sec, though. Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me. So, question, though. Because maybe I've gotten my timeline mixed up. Didn't the games get dark before he showed them to someone? And Davey hasn't made any mention of that he went back to... Cota and told him that he showed him the games. So I'm assuming that that's something that Davey's left out here. Man, Davey is like, Davey is walking on such a fine line, like, showing the other games, and Cota getting upset about it, and then him making this one. Like, obviously there's a 4-year gap, so something must have happened. There must be some kind of resolution to this. But, man, this is so ballsy at this point. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them.
And then you stopped. and I didn't have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself. And as soon as that happened, there was no feeling at all. Nothing.
Oh,
Less than nothing.
shit. That's so hurtful.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
So if he realized, then why is he saying something now? I feel like
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please. I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. I want to know I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
oh, I feel so wrong about playing this now.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease.
Did one of these doors open? Oh, whoops. Man. Oh, okay.
Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed.
You told people?
Maybe he just likes making prisons.
Plot twist. This may seem, I'm so sorry for making light of the situation, but Cota invented Prison Architect.
Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
I don't know if this is Coda's work or Davy's work anymore. Well, total darkness.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like. What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for. And so I'm just gonna... Okay.